Development chances continue to rise for two areas in the tropics. One could bring heavy rain to Bermuda. The other, everyone needs to be paying attention to in the Caribbean. I'm meteorologist Jonathan Kagas, and we talk and track all things weather. We are still on the tropics front as we have this late season push going on in the Atlantic. We're going to start with the disturbance north of Puerto Rico because it's actually impacting the island with some heavy rain now. And then we're going to get all into the system in the Caribbean, still yet to develop, but showing signs that it will likely do so over the next several days. I want to show you the overall view here of the Western Atlantic Basin, and both of these disturbances are kind of caught up in a big, long, strung-out moisture plume. You see that right here, all of that green. Again, it's kind of streaming north, so Puerto Rico, we are getting into some heavy rain. We'll take a look at your radar in a second, but you see all of that streaming north. The actual disturbance we are watching for potential development is right in there. The second one is blossoming here just to the west of us in Grenada, Trinidad, and Tobago as well. We have some gusty thunderstorms moving through the islands, especially into the Windward Islands. You see all of this tropical moisture being drawn into the disturbance itself. So again, if you're watching from Trinidad and Tobago into Grenada, into Barbados, we are likely going to be in and out to some very heavy rain and thunderstorms. Not directly related to that disturbance that could develop per se, but it is drawing in all of this tropical moisture. So again, expect kind of nasty weather over the next few days. This is the radar out of Puerto Rico, and this is absolutely what we do not need here. Very heavy rain streaming into places that were just hit so hard by extreme flooding from Hurricane Fiona. Again, the heaviest rain with Fiona was on the eastern side, but still, we got a lot of rain on the western side of the island as well. This is all west of Ponce, closing in on Isabella. We do have more scattered thunderstorms off our coast in Puerto Rico. All of this is going to stream back in over the next several hours, so a lot of rain, unfortunately, coming to the island, which we definitely do not need. We are back in the Caribbean wide view now, looking at the total rainfall through Sunday night into early Monday morning. And what we're seeing the red on your screen here, really through the Windward Islands from Barbados to Trinidad and Tobago, we can pick up 2 to 4 inches of rain through Sunday night. And then also in the eastern Dominican Republic and western Puerto Rico, as that moisture is being pulled up by that disturbance that could develop as it moves towards Bermuda, we could also see around 2 to 4 inches of rain. I would not be surprised, though, in some cases if we double that on the western side of Puerto Rico. As I showed you, all that moisture streaming in, that rain is extremely heavy. If you're enjoying this video, please hit that like button. It really does go a big way into helping me out. Also, I would love to know where you are watching from. Please post where you're tuning in from in the comments below. All right, so I know a lot of people are watching closely this disturbance that could develop here in the Caribbean over the next few days, both short-term and then long-term beyond the Caribbean. So here we go. We are going to start with the GFS. And the GFS, as you hear me talk about all the time, is aggressive when these things try to develop in the Caribbean. So here we go. As we go forward in time, we're looking for this little red ball to pop up. And you see a little something trying to get going here as we move into Sunday morning. So this is going to be October 30th in the morning, where we could start to have potentially a tropical depression developing, at least according to the GFS. And then you see it really strengthen this as it kind of gets on a parallel here with the Dominican Republic. Again, that's the GFS scenario. So now I want to show you the European. I know everybody loves the European, but it does have its downfalls as well, and this is one of them. Look at this going forward. So here we go at the same time frame. We're back on Sunday morning, October 30th, and it does try to develop something, but you see it's not as intense. It's not as consolidated. It's more broad. The spin that we're looking at here in the model is not as well defined or as intense until we start to get this further out beyond Jamaica, and even then it kind of washes it out and has an open wave. Now, the one problem the European has is a little too weak on developing tropical systems. It's one of its main problems. Again, its ensemble members, which I will show you in a second, does have this much stronger than this operational run that I'm showing you right here. Remember, no model is gospel. They are just guidance. So if you do like to watch the computer models, I know a lot of you guys do, that's probably one of the reasons why you're here. I would think that we would start to see over the next few days the European catch on a little bit more, and every run from this point on should get a little more intense. Again, I think we're going to split the difference in intensity in the short term between the very bullish GFS and then the very lazy European. Just keep that in mind. We're going to watch for those trends with you guys over the next few days. We're going to jump right into those European ensembles, and you see that cluster there. So a lot of the members of the ensemble, and again, each member makes up these little circles that are popping up on your screen, indicating where it thinks the center of low pressure could be, and we're starting to get more members on board. If you've been watching over the past few days, it certainly hasn't looked like this. So as I mentioned before, that the European is a little lazy and a little too weak with developing these tropical systems, its ensembles are starting to bite more, unfortunately, here. The darker reds and purples, that's indicating a pretty strong storm, and you're starting to see that as it gets beyond Jamaica into Central America. Now we're getting way far out. So this is the first weekend of November, and then you see that turn to the north. Again, all of that part beyond the weekend is still extremely hazy, but this time of the year, things tend to develop in the Caribbean and then lift north out of the Caribbean as it gets pulled up by a dip in the jet stream and then kind of pushed to the east by that system. Watching that closely, but again, those details will have to be ironed out over the next few days. And the GFS shows the same scenario, really. This is Saturday, November 5th in the morning, and you see there on the Western Caribbean, really beyond Jamaica, really starting to blow this up. And again, the water is still really warm. It's deep, warm water here in the Western Caribbean, as we know. And you see some of these ensemble members get this thing really strong as it moves either really from the Yucatan into Central America, maybe even into the southeast coast of the United States. So again, while we don't have a storm just yet, we don't have a well-defined center, it's hard to determine where these things are going once we do start to get something. The hurricane hunters are going to be out there dropping their instruments, and we'll be able to get much better data out of the deal. But in this term, it's just kind of a wait and see, just to everybody be on guard, really, from the Caribbean to the southeast corner of the United States over the next week to 10 days. Before we go, I just wanted to thank all of the new subscribers. We've had so many people find this channel and log on. Thank you so much for your support. It's been great meeting everybody from around the world. If you know of anybody that would like this channel, please share it with your friends. Please give this a like. Please subscribe if you are new to the channel. We would love to have you on board as we track weather together. Every Saturday, we go live at around 11 o'clock Eastern Time. You can come with your questions. We're going to look at the latest modeling as it comes to these two disturbances that we are watching in the Atlantic. And again, we're going to do it all live as we always track the weather together. Have a great one. We'll catch you next time.